Welcome to The Deep Dive. Today we're going into, well, a really dark place in British history, the Moors murders. Our mission here is to understand why this case, with 5 young victims between 63 and 65, still feels so immediate, so raw. And we're going to focus on the most painful part of it all, the search for the one victim who has never been found, 12-year-old Keith Bennett.
It's true. I mean, for most of his life, Ian Brady was known as, and this is quite a title, the most hated man in Britain.
It's a chilling phrase. It really speaks to this kind of pure evil he came to represent.
Absolutely. And that's what we want to explore. Why Brady and Myra Hindley, other killers, they fade from memory. But these two, they still cast this baleful shadow. We're not just talking about a crime. It's a whole cultural phenomenon. Saddleworth Moor itself is a landmark of dread now.
Okay, so let's get right into that. Why this case? What gives it this enduring power to horrify?
Well, there's a fascinating psychological take on this from a forensic psychologist, Colleen Covington. She suggests it's not just about simple outrage. It's almost a form of self-defense for society.
Self-defense. How so?
By projecting the absolute idea of evil onto someone like Brady, we make him fundamentally not someone like us.
Right. It separates him from humanity.
Exactly. It's a way to keep our own collective sense of self, unsullied and pure. As long as he's the monster over there, we're safe from that darkness over here.
And that revulsion, it was complicated, wasn't it? Because you had two killers, and the public anger towards Hindley was, it was often even more intense.
Oh, absolutely.
For
She
sure.
became a kind of national scapegoat. Her crimes were seen as unwomanly. She broke not just the law, but these deep-seated ideas about what a woman should be.
She even acknowledged that herself, didn't she, in that essay from 1995?
She did. It was a really stark piece of writing. She called herself corrupt, wicked, and evil. And she said, and this is the key part, without me, those crimes could probably not have been committed.
Acknowledging she was the one who lured the children in.
She knew she was the focus of a very specific, very national kind of hatred.
And that hatred had real legal consequences. The timing here is it's incredible.
It is. Brady missed the news by a hair's breadth. The death penalty was abolished in 1965. His trial was the year after.
So for decades after, anytime the debate over capital punishment came up in the UK.
They were the first names mentioned, almost inevitably. Brady and Hindley weren't just murderers. They became Exhibit A in this huge national argument.
It's interesting, you see parallels in other countries.
You do. In the U.S., Charles Manson occupies a similar space. He had that same chilling arrogance, that contempt for society. Brady and Manson, they both seemed to relish their infamy.
They became the people it was okay to hate.
Without restraint. Brady reportedly even gloated about being top of the ratings 40 years on. It's just a terrifying mindset.
So that national story, that's the big picture. But let's zoom in now on the most personal, tragic part of this. Let's talk about Keith Bennett. He was just 12 years old, abducted on June 16th, 1964. The details just break your heart. He was short-sighted, only 4'6", wearing a lilac t-shirt, on his way to his grand's house.
And the tragedy was just compounded by the technology of the time. His mother, Winnie Johnson, she didn't realize he was missing until the next day.
Why?
Because neither she nor her mother had a telephone. There was no way to just quickly check in. That delay cost them crucial time.
And then the investigation. What the police put that family through is just unbelievable.
It really is. In the early stages, they actually suspected Keith's stepfather, Jimmy Johnson. They brought him in, accused him.
I read they even tore up the floorboards in their house.
They did. Dug up the garden.
Huh.
That kind of pressure, the accusation, it caused immense friction in their marriage, right on top of their grief.
And it wasn't just the police. The public could be so cruel.
Horrifically cool. When he talked about a woman stopping her in the street just to say that Keith had been chopped up and fed to pigs. The casual sadism is it's sickening.
But Winnie Johnson's response to all this was just this incredible, unwavering crusade.
Absolutely. After the official searches in the 60s ended, she started her own for decades.
She would go up to Saddleworth Moor, sometimes completely alone, just searching. She refused to let people forget.
She kept it alive. When the police had basically paused their active search, she was still there. She became the heart of the case.
And she died in 2012, didn't she?
She did, without ever getting her one wish, which was to give Keith a proper Christian burial. Her fight is what kept the pressure on for 20 years until the killers finally talked.
Okay, let's go to that moment, the mid-1980s. 20 years of denial, and then they finally confess. But of course, it wasn't that simple.
Not at all. They couldn't even agree on the basic facts. It just created this infuriating puzzle.
So let's lay them out. What was Hindley's version?
Hindley said they walked along a place called Shiny Brook. She claimed she lost sight of Brady and Keith for a moment, and that Brady killed him with a cord. A cord.
And she mentioned a marker.
Yes, she said they buried a spade nearby at a spot they'd picked out beforehand.
Okay, so that's her story. What about Brady?
Completely different. He said they walked for 3 miles along the riverbed. He claimed he killed Keith with his bare hands.
No cord.
No cord. And his marker wasn't a spade. He said he placed a large rock on the grave.
So 2 killers, 2 different weapons, 2 different markers. It's a mess.
A total mess. And it completely undermined the searches that followed. Now, Hindley's confession did lead them to Pauline Reed's body in 1987.
So she was telling some truth.
Some. But when they took Brady back to the moor, he just seemed completely lost, disoriented by how the landscape had changed over 20 years.
Which raises the question, right? Was he genuinely confused, or was this just another game?
The detective in charge at the time, Peter Topping, he thought it might have been genuine. That Brady's own mental issues were so severe he might not have actually known the spot anymore. The man holding the secret hostage might have forgotten the secret.
Whether he forgot or not, his later actions were just pure psychological warfare.
Oh, completely. That letter he sent to Winnie in 2006, he didn't give her the location. He just taunted her, saying the authorities had ignored his earlier offers.
Just twisting the knife.
Always. And then the final awful climax in 2012, when Winnie was dying.
The envelope.
The envelope. He gets his advocate, Jackie Powell, to announce he'd given her a sealed envelope with the location inside. The media went into a frenzy.
Powell gets arrested, the police get the envelope, and
it's empty. Just a final cruel ruse to cause maximum pain to a dying mother. It never, ever stopped.
Which brings us right up to today, the unresolved controversy. The legal fight over what Brady left behind when he died in 2017.
Right, because there's still a belief that the answer is out there in his possessions.
The key item being this manuscript, Blacklight.
Exactly. A BBC documentary found this 394-page partial autobiography. It details another one of the murders, Pauline Reed's, in meticulous detail.
But the crucial part is what's missing.
The final 200 pages. The section that was supposed to be about Keith's murder is gone. So the hope, the theory, is that the full manuscript is somewhere, and that it might contain a map or a description.
And this all points to one person, Robin Macon, Brady's solicitor.
His solicitor and the executor of his will. Macon took possession of 2 locked briefcases from Brady's hospital room just before he died.
And he's refused to open them.
He's refused access to Keith's brother, Alan Bennett, and to the Greater Manchester Police. Over and over again.
The police investigation is still active, though.
Oh, yes. They confirmed in 2025 that the case is open. They're actively trying to get access to that information.
And Macon's refusal is made worse by his own sort of professional reputation, isn't it?
It is. In other unrelated cases, judges have made scathing remarks about him, accusing him of egregious overcharging. It all just adds to the suspicion and the frustration. Why won't he cooperate?
It's an infuriating endpoint for Alan Bennett, who is still fighting for his brother.
It is. The search is blocked by human deception and by the moor itself. It's a massive peat bog. The landscape is constantly changing, shifting. Finding a precise spot after 60 years is almost impossible.
It's the perfect storm, really.
That's a good way to put it. A convergence of pure malice, unending family sorrow, and this huge, unforgiving landscape that holds the final secret.
So as we wrap up, I want to bring it back to the legal system, which we touched on earlier. This case didn't just capture the public's imagination, it actually changed the law.
It absolutely did. You just have to look at Myra Hindley's parole attempts. The court eventually upheld the Home Secretary's decision to give her a whole life tariff.
Meaning she would never be released.
Never. And the court openly said the decision was driven by her notoriety. It wasn't just about whether she was a danger anymore. It was about the public obloquy, the national scorn that would fall on anyone who dared to release her.
So public opinion essentially became part of her sentence.
In effect, yes.
And that leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to take away from this. It's this. Who should have the final say on the sentences for these kinds of crimes? Should it be the judiciary, which is supposed to be impartial? Or should it be a political figure like the Home Secretary, who is susceptible to public pressure? When a crime creates this level of national outrage, is it possible for justice to be served by the rule of law alone? Or is it destined to be forever held hostage to public opinion?